because you see, we'll
or maybe they're even thinking that you might be the running mate to Peter Obi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is what the enemy outside there is saying. The implication is that if you put somebody from the southeast, unfortunately, there are many issues in the southeast. You see, northern voter is the worst hit on this issue of maladministration in this country. But even under that circumstance, a northern voter also believes that he is better with one united Nigeria. And therefore, most of the things that are happening in the south, especially in the southeast, people are not comfortable with that. And as long as you have somebody from there in any party, it will be very difficult for the northern voters to vote. And that's the situation now. And those workers who are against, in the actual sense, working against LP, Southeast, and so on, what they believe is if you put anybody under this arrangement from that side of the country, the northern voters will not vote. And who will they vote? Their own candidate in the southeast, I mean in the north.
So, can you or would you be a running mate to Peter Obi?
That's what I'm saying.
Would you like to be as a person, personally?
Ordinarily, you see, I'm jobless now. I'm not doing any job.
So
to become a vice president,
you can be a vice president.
But what I'm telling you is that if anybody from the south is now under this circumstance becomes the presidential candidate of our party or any other party, the implication is that because of the activities and many other issues that are real on the ground, northern voters will certainly go for their northern candidate in another party.
So the thinking
is that it's not whether I like it or I don't like it. The fact remains that
the numbers,
everybody will lose. The number he will lose, I will lose.
So if Peter Obi is coming to join you, he will be your running mate.
That's as long as you want to vote from the north.
Barrister, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, that is a sort of political hypocrisy. The truth, he knows that the average northern voter goes along with what their people say, what the Malams say, what their political leaders say. They are not fidgeted like he is trying to say. If, for instance, he becomes the vice president of Peter Obi, and they decide, the northern leaders, together with their Malams, decide to go and preach that or propagate that ticket, believe me, the northern voter will fall in line.
Yeah.
They are not fixated, they are not fixed on the point that he's making. Because it's very easy to disabuse the threat of the breakup of Nigeria. Because a lot of people know that if an Igbo person becomes president, that issue of dissolution of Nigeria will virtually go away. You will not be, that issue of separating will virtually die a natural death. So it's easy. Just political sophistry that he's trying to do. Because before, if you know what he had said before, that he's too big to be a VP.
Yes.
Now he's confronted with a choice that he cannot get the ticket, he cannot be a candidate. So he has approached APC to give him the vice presidential ticket. Apparently, Tinubu has not agreed. He was venting himself out for the presidential ticket or vice presidential ticket of any party, the ADC. He has sent out signals. So he is taking a high point for that ticket or anywhere he goes. So to come out and say, oh, I agreed to be the vice presidential candidate, we already remove him from any presidential ticket. If he truly accepts that ticket, he can work for it. In Kano, whichever way you look at it,
but do you think
if Kwankwaso campaigns in Kano vigorously for any ticket, he will get a measurable size of votes.
Okay,
in Kano,
now
of anybody.
Do you think you seem not to have noticed something that I noticed in his speech, in his comment? Now, do you think that the Kwankwaso you just had now is really, really ready to subordinate to Peter Obi as his running mate? Do you think, based on what you just had now, If after giving all this analogy or analysis, and you think somebody like that is still ready to actually deputize Peter Obi on the campaign?
You cannot judge that question just on what he said now. You have to go back to what he has, where he's coming from. And I tried to tell you in the past how proud he has been.
Didn't you see? You didn't notice the same pride in him. You didn't notice the same pride still going on.
I noticed it. That's why I'm trying to draw from before. He has said he has a PhD. He has been governor 2 times. He's a minister. He cannot be a vice president to Peter Obi before. But if you also watch the speech, you see that he is stepping down. The pride that is him is there, but he is stepping down and allowing room. He has not completely foreclosed that possibility, if you look at it. But he is stepping down gently from that high horse that he used to be, for the simple reason that he has no alternative. He has no platform. I hope you understand that the governor has left him, resigned, along with all the local government chairmen, along with 8 House of Reps members, along with about 18 members of the House of Assembly. They are going to APC. So where will he be if he continue in the NMPP? If NMPP gives him ticket, the governor of the state with the apparatus will not be behind him. So he is in the wilderness. So that has forced him to try to come down, even though the pride is still asserting itself. He's still leaving very little room for change. He does not command a presidential ticket in any of the strong parties, any of the viable parties. So at the end of the day, I believe that if Peter Obi gives him the vice president ticket, he will accept it, for the simple reason that he has no choice.
Yeah, but that would
be... to continue to be relevant politically.
Yeah, my problem is
to accept it.
Yeah, my point is, although you've told me, you've explained in the past how Nigerian politicians think, they don't care about their integrity or whatever. Otherwise, how would you, after making this point, by saying, if first, remember, he went away. He was bringing the issue of Biafra again. He didn't mention Biafra, but he literally said it that Northerners believe in one Nigeria, but what is happening in the Southeast now is against one Nigeria or whatever. So therefore, and the problem that is going on there, the Northerners would see that anybody coming from that region to be there, whatever, they will not support that person. So tell me, this same person now, you mean this same person, after saying all this nonsense, going against the Southeast, speaking against, analyzing against the Southeast, and or anybody from the Southeast or whatever, you think this person will still want to, if given the ticket on that Peter Obi, that he will still accept it? You think so?
What you are focusing on what he said, but also focus on what he did not say. He talked about the average Nigerian voter, not himself. He also did not say that they are the leaders of
my point. Hold on, Barrister. Oh. My point is. Don't you think that if he accepts to be the running mate to Peter Obi, that alone, that what he said about the Southeast and what he said about the non-acceptability in the North, can be used against him even in the campaign by the opposition, by the other party?
Look, it will be easy for him to say, look, he is doing that for the unity of Nigeria because Peter Obi has assured him that he is not interested in the division of Nigeria. And if this thing is given to the Igbos, it will bring an end to the problem of this. There are a lot of things, positive things you can say as a means of convincing people.
Now, you yourself, you're supposed to be politician, Barrister. It's just you just talk him. You get that allows a very good defense anyway.
They don't need much. The average Nigerian Northerner does not need much to convince. They only need their leaders to give them some excuse, some sort of explanation. They are ready to accept. If Kwankwaso will stay in Kano and say, look, this is the situation, we have decided that we will do this. A lot of people will go with him. So also other northern voters.
Okay.
So what he did not say is his role as a leader of the North in convincing the voters to do otherwise? That's the part he left unsaid.
Okay, another question on this. Now, we are seeing, just like you pointed earlier, and honestly, I've noticed that the dynamics are changing in favor of Peter Obi. Peter Obi that we used to see as someone in the wilderness, someone who is fast losing popularity or support base, and he's actually reimagined in different fronts now. The Labour Party is kind of rebouncing back. We have the ADC platform there that with this article, with this Arewa Consultative, Arewa Elders Forum coming out in the person through their representative Hakim Baba Ahmed, to actually asking him not to move forward with his campaign, Atiku not to move forward with his campaign. That shines light on Peter Obi right now. So Obi's political fortunes seem to be growing right now by the day. So dynamics are changing, and obviously, as the dynamics are changing, fear is becoming a threat to Bola Tinubu. There's no doubt about that. Do you still see Bola Tinubu winning this election, as we both agreed in the past, with these new dynamics coming out? Let's assume, okay, Labour Party becomes healthy, recovers, and ADC features or whatever, Obi and everybody unites, including Atiku, unites their political and their financial might around him, and other people, probably PDP too, come into play we now have a kind of mega support for Peter Obi. Do you think that Bola Tinubu can still be defeated come 2020? Now, before that, put rigging aside, on a free and fair election, do you think Bola Tinubu can still be defeated?
There is always hardly a free and fair election in Nigeria. The elections are just conducted in the Nigerian way. That's the way I want to put it. So, till today, I still see no serious challenge. Even with the dynamics changing, as we have said, I still see no serious challenge to Bola Tinubu. And one thing I have to say, which is at the back of my mind, in a way, the northern politicians are clever. Tinubu is also clever. There's a time that Tinubu gave a ticket to Nuhu Ribadu. You remember?
Yes.
There's also
yes. During ADC.
He gave ticket to
ACN rather.
ACN. There's also a time he gave ticket to Atiku. In all those times, he knew very well that they were not going to win. He also knew that even if himself puts himself forward, he was not going to win. But it was like a debt. He was extracting a debt from them. I gave you ticket that time, so there's a time he's going to call on them to pay that debt. I'm trying to see something similar. It's like some elements in the North are saying that they cannot defeat Tinubu, whichever way they go, whether it is by Atiku or by Peter Obi. So why not we support Peter Obi so that we will come up and say, look, we supported you. When the thing is coming to the North, they can say to the Igbos that we supported you through Peter Obi. Unfortunately, he didn't win. They can call upon that debt when the time comes. I think that thing is also playing at the back of my mind, that some people realize that Tinubu is unbeatable in 2029 as far as the elections are conducted in the Nigerian way that we conduct elections. Look, Tinubu today, if by the time Governor of Kano goes to APC, he will have, I think, 32 state governors behind him. The elections are conducted in Nigeria based on money and based on the state government's apparatus, based on the federal government apparatus. So when you have 32 governors in your camp, when you have their money in your camp, and when you have the federal might, the police, the army, the INEC, is almost impossible to
Yes,
say that you can
I completely agree with you that whatever the dynamic is, it has not changed. The only I've said it before that the only way Tinubu will not coast to victory is when something unexpected happens. Probably
exactly,
that has to do with
exactly.
his health or with his life or whatever. But as long as this election holds and Tinubu is alive and healthy, I am telling you, no matter
We have
how
not seen anything.
no
I
matter
agree
how
with
the dynamic change, I am telling you, the man is good. I have said it before. For those of you who don't like listening to this, I'll keep saying it. Look, is the reality. Obi is my man. Obi is our man. Even Barrister Samantha agrees with me on. We agree on Obi. Obi is still the best. He is the perfect. In the midst of imperfections, so many imperfections, he is the perfect person there. He's not a saint, but he is a saint as far as the field, the present field is concerned. He is a saint right now. He is the only person with a proven record that can do that. We believe that can actually do what he promises to do, or what he promises to do. However, I have said it before and I'll keep repeating it. Obi, the closest Obi got to the presidency was in 2023. He will never get that close again anymore. He will never, ever get that close anymore. Unfortunately, he missed his chances. And that is just it. He missed that opportunity.
Let me add that if looking back in retrospection, what they are trying to do now, combining forces, if they had done that in 2023, even Tinubu would not have, with every sagacity
Yes,
that he had,
absolutely.
he would not have won.
Correct, absolutely.
Now it is too late.
It's too late. Yeah,
Forces,
that
the
is it.
dynamics have changed so radically
Yeah,
that their combination will not alter the dynamics.
yeah, you're absolutely
That's
right.
it.
So it's so sad. It's so sad that we are faced with Bola Tinubu. Bola Tinubu is a worst president. Look, Barrister, did you know that we have dropped from we started dropping from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Now we are dropped to number 4 GDP in Africa. For God's sake, number 4. We are the largest population by far. No country is even close to us. None in Africa close to us. Yet our GDP under normal circumstances, based on our population, we are supposed to be growing. Now our GDP has dropped from Bola Tinubu took over from Buhari in 2023 at GDP was $470 something thousand dollars. Sorry, $470 something billion GDP from Buhari. Buhari dropped from Jonathan was I think 500 or whatever, but at least it dropped. I was even surprised when I went through the data. The drop was not that sharp. Now, what do we have right now? After 2 years of Bola Tinubu, he took over from Buhari at 477. Now, after 2 years, today our GDP is about less than 250. In fact, there's a record I saw. They say 180 something billion dollars. That the modest the one that is even the modest record I saw is about 250 something billion dollars from 470 something, for God's sake. Crap, in 2 years. This man is just driving Nigeria into the ground. That's just our entire economy is in shambles. For God, look at our budget. Our budget, for God's sake, we have, oh my God. Our income, we're expecting income this year about 30 something trillion. About 35 or 34 or whatever point something trillion. I can't remember the figure again. Around that 34, 35 trillion. While the budget is 50 something trillion. About 20 something, about 23 trillion naira difference. Now, how are we going to get that 23 trillion naira? That's why the taxation is so massive now. They want to tax us. Now, they want to put the burden on us as citizens. Put the burden on us. Apart from that, go borrowing again, increasing our borrowing strength. Oh my, Barrister, and we can't. I don't understand. God, something needs to be done about this Tinubu, because Tinubu cannot continue this way. For God's sake, we can't continue this way. Yeah, they are telling us that the inflation rate is going down. What inflation rate is going down when people are still hungry? For God's sake, the inflation, the figures, the data they are projecting to us is not relative to what is on the ground. It doesn't align with what is on ground. People are still in suffering. Suffering is even increasing, getting worse. And they're telling us inflation rate is going down. I don't get it. Honestly, we just Nigerians, for God's sake, Tinubu, we shouldn't allow Tinubu to, something has to be done. Honestly, I do not, because if they allow this man continue another 4 years, Nigeria is doomed. We will become irredeemable. We need a revolution in this country, in one way or the other. Honestly.
Look, JIBRIN, you don't need a professor of economics to tell you that our economy is down on the ground. What Tinubu is doing now is called voodoo economics. And what is this voodoo economics? He wants to pull wool over the eyes of people by saying that the government is having unprecedented revenues. Now, these revenues are coming from where? From taxation. They are not coming from production. We are not producing anything. So the economy is not growing in real terms. How do you take economic growth for revenue that comes to government and pass it as economic growth? That is not economic growth. We are not producing anything. We are not earning far more external foreign exchange than we used to earn. So it is voodoo economists to pull wool over the eyes of people, give a lot of worthless money to the governors and to agencies of government, and claim that the economy is on the right track. Meanwhile, the burden of taxation is overwhelming from every angle. Taxation. Look, now bank accounts, transfers are being taxed left, right, and
yeah,
center.
honestly.
Corporate bank accounts now, you do a transfer, it's taxed left, right, and they're still looking for more ways to tax. So how do you now reckon this as repositioning the economy? You are not repositioning anything. You are still exerting burden on the people for politicians to embezzle. You say you do one project here and there, but the bulk of the money, the bulk of the revenue is not going on capital projects, it's going on services.
Yeah.
Consumption, salaries, and overheads. Because you are creating more and more agencies, So this to me is voodoo economics.
It's so sad, honestly.
It will get the country down at a point. Something we have to give at a point.
Yeah, we should. This should be our breaking point. Nigerians, we really need to do something. Honestly, we really need to do something. Otherwise, everybody will just go in for it.